जी प्रणाम।
वो एडिट करो नाम दिखाओ तो
प्रोफेसर बोल का तो नहीं पूछदा। अच्छा तो ला लो कन्ना च बोली आंदा
बोली कि चंदा 2 बजे आऊंगा।
अरे आ कौन
और नाम चेंज करो तो जाकर नाम दिखाई देता है।
रुक
माइक
जाओ
ऑफ कर दियो प्लीज माइक ऑफ कर।
रीनेम
आ जाओ
हां ही करन दे प्रिया रोड़ा प्रिया रानी आ
मेरी की गलती मेरे सेक्रेटरी पेपर से ना मेरे घर दे ने लिखाता रानी हूं
और नहीं टच चलो
जब मेरे सेक्रेटरी पेपर से ना अगे करम ने पहला कितनी सी करन दी ईमेल चली
प्रोफेसर देखी कमरे च
ਉੱਥੇ ਆਈ ਜਾਵੇ ਕਰਨਵੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ सिक्योरिटी सादा कर अलाउड भी नहीं कर देना मैं तो शुक्र
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦਿਖਾਓ ਕੌਣ ਹੈ
मेरे आई अंदर सीगा हरप्रीत को कहना ਉਹ ਮਾਸ
ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਲੈਪਟਾਪ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਾਈਕ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਾਈਕ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਓਪਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਲਵਲੀ ਵਾਲੇ
ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਲਵਲੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਮਿਊਟ ਹੈਗਾ
Audio level test, audio level testing. All right, welcome everybody. We will be getting started in 15 minutes. If you can hear me talking, just say yes or just type in the chat box or something so I can make sure all my systems are running here. Now we're recording today's meeting. So anything that you don't want to be on the, oh, you can hear me very good. So anything you don't want to be in the recording, just don't say it. Like don't make sort of mean, say mean things about your sister-in-law or something, because who knows, she might find out, listen to the recording and find out about it or something. Then there'll be a fight in your family. Anyway, we'll be getting started in about 15 minutes.
मैं कितने लिखूंगी?
All right, guys, we'll be starting in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, guys and ladies. Don't want to be gender exclusive to anybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start in 3 minutes. Once again, this is a new mic. I just got it the other day, so if I don't sound clear or if my talking doesn't sound too good, let me know. This session is being recorded, so any things you say in class, well, maybe sometime later, whoever you were talking about is, I mean, you can say whatever you want about me. I don't really care. But if you say something mean about your, I don't know, your brother-in-law or something, he might find out about it and get mad at you. So probably better to just be cautious what you're going to talk about in class. And we're going to get going in 2 minutes. I'm going to post the class recordings generally like the day after class. This will be a fairly information intense class. So if there's any, now probably not the first class, because the first class, we just get ourselves organized and we, just sort of go over the course outline and stuff. But maybe in future classes, when we're doing more sophisticated lab work, you can go back and rewatch the recording or something later on if necessary.
जनता ने बंद कीते होए कैमरा कोई कुड़ियां ला के बैठियां होइयां कैमरे ऑन कर
Okay, we're going to be getting started in a minute.
बैठ छाड़ दो
गल सुने
All right, guys, I'm going to give you a test because we have the final exam coming up at the end of course, but I believe in never waiting till the last minute of anything. So let's have a little test now. No, seriously, it's not counting for your marks. However, it's first of all, it's attendance, because attendance does matter. And second of all, it is to show you the kinds of questions. So when we do get to the real test later on, you're going to have a little bit of familiarity with it. So let me kick out the link for that. I think I gave you like 6 minutes or something, so not going to spend too much time on it, but I think would probably be a good place to start our thinking on. So go to your chat comments for your meeting and click on the link and go and write that now, please. Go and do that. Okay, so far I have 0 people writing the quiz, which is kind of confusing. So guys, if you can't handle writing the quiz, I'm going to suggest you might want to go to student services and see if you can get your money back, because it's not going to get any easier after this. Just click on the link in the chat box. If you have any questions, your mic is open. You can talk and ask me, but I would like to see people writing our quiz now, please. All right, so far I have Simarpal Singh, Bipanjot Singh, and if I pronounce anybody's name incorrectly, I'm very sorry. I'm doing my best here. Shravan Gupta and Jaspreet Singh. So apparently, according to my Zoom meeting panel, I have 22 people in class, although I'm one of them, so I have 21 students, but I apparently only have 4 people writing the attendance quiz. Whoa, it just jumped all the way up to 8 people. It doubled, but that's still not really good enough. We want to see more than that, really. Guys, don't make me sad. It'll make me very sad if I don't have people in class writing my quiz. And one of the things I do look at when I assign final marks is attendance, right? So if your attendance is not too good, that's not going to have a very happy result for you.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I actually have a problem.
Why?
I am logging in from my friend's laptop, and my name shown is Amandeep Kaur, and my original name is Simranjeet Kaur.
Okay, not a problem, because when you do the attendance quiz,
Yeah.
type your proper name, type your real name in there. The attendance quiz is how I log attendance.
Okay.
So
And-
sorry, your name was Simranjeet?
Yes, Simranjeet.
Okay, let's make sure. Can you see the screen? Because I have 3 screens in front of me. On
Yeah.
your Zoom panel, do you see something that says S22 MAD 4124? You see that?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
able
so-
to do that.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to check. Now, that's from another class, right? I didn't rename the quiz, but it doesn't matter. It's still you. So
Okay.
Simran, I see Simarpal, Sukhmeet, Vipanjot. I don't see Simranjeet. Simran, I see Simarpal Singh and Sukhmeet and Sharvan and Sahil. I don't see Simranpreet. So you're sure you're writing the quiz?
Yeah, I am. Oh, wait a minute. Let me check again.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello, I'm here. Go ahead.
So can you see Balvinder Pal?
Can I see what?
Balvinder Pal.
What's the name? Talk it louder.
Busy enter हो रही।
Garwinder?
Pal.
करना तो क्या?
Sorry, just what's the first letter?
B.
B.
B for boy.
No, I don't see a name starting with B.
Sir, how can I?
I don't know. It's strange because I don't see you there. Well, maybe I'll take attendance later on. I'll just ask people to say their name. Or the other thing I could do is through the chat comments. If I go to the chat comment, I should see everybody there as well. So that's another way I could do it. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go to the chat window to take. Although in the chat window, everybody in the chat, just say hello. Just chat the word hello to me, then I'll see your name there in the chat. Just do that now. Just chat the word hello to me, just so I see your name in the chat window. All right, Jaspreet Singh, Manjot. Okay, Sharvan, Kuljit, Komalpreet, Navjot. Okay, so I'm just going to take your attendance from those. Now, HP, I don't know who it is. So HP, it's okay for right now, but later on, just come in with your real name. Because I don't know who HP is.
HP is Sukhmeet.
Sukhmeet, okay.
ਜਵਾਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੁੱਛਣ ਦੇ ਕੈਮਰਾ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਔਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਦੱਸ
ਨੂਰ ਮੈਂ ਕੈਮਰਾ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਔਨ ਕਰਾਂ
All right, let's see how you guys are making out with the quiz now.
Yeah. Hello, Professor.
Hello.
Can you see me now?
Ah.
Simranjeet Kaur.
Simran, let's check for you.
Yeah,
Well,
please.
you should. Oh, Simran, I see Simarpal Singh. I
Simranjeet Kaur
see
is there. Yes.
Simranjeet Singh. There you are. I see you. Yeah, you're good.
Simranjeet Kaur actually.
I see you,
मैं पता नहीं
Simranjit
show हो
Kaur.
रही है कि
Yeah,
नहीं,
yeah, yeah.
मुझे पता
I see
नहीं
you.
है।
You're there.
Okay,
Can
then.
you
Thank
see
उन्हें class
Simranjit?
चल
Wait,
रही
don't
है।
go away. I need to ask you a question.
Yes.
Can you see on your Zoom? Because I don't see what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
मैं
guys see.
कैमरा भी ऊपर
Are you
कितों
seeing
कराऊं, समझ नहीं आ रहा।
the panel with your name there?
Start video.
Yes, I can.
Okay, very good. So I'm sharing the
Hello,
right thing.
sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hello. Go ahead.
Hello, sir. This
Hello.
is my ID. This is not her.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
My name is also same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm not sure what that means. Is it good or bad? Guys, you have to have pity on your poor professors. You know what you're talking about. I don't really know what you're talking about. So is your name showing up in the quiz?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you're all set. If you're here, then don't worry, you're good.
Excuse me, sir.
All right, I see a few people are still working on it. So I'll give another couple of minutes and then we'll review the answers.
Excuse me,
And
sir.
then we will look over the course outline. Are you now seeing my PowerPoint, which says Android application developer training? Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Yeah, this is from another college which I teach at. So some of the details might be wrong, but we'll fix them up as we go forward. All right, let's see how you guys are making out with my quiz here. Well, a couple of people, I still have about 3-4 people, so I'll give one more minute for them to finish and then we will carry on. Actually, I still just have Simranjit Kaur and Simranjit Kaur, so we'll give you ladies another couple of minutes to finish up.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, actually, I still have Sukhmeet as well, and
Hello.
Navjot. Hello, go ahead.
Sir, are you able to see Balvinder Pal?
Am I able to see what?
Balvinder Pal.
Barwinder? Let's
Balvinder
find
Pal.
out. Let's go and look here. We'll look together. Hang on.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead. No,
Sir,
I don't see any names starting with B.
excuse me, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, I did my quiz, but I can't see my name here.
I
That's
also, sir.
strange.
Maybe there is an
Sir,
problem.
excuse me, sir.
Hello.
Hi, sir. It's Harpreet Kaur, and I'm not showing here. My name is also not here present.
That's odd. I'm going to log out and log back into the test tool because it's pretty reliable usually. Let me check something here. Hang on.
ਕੁਇਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਨੰਬਰ ਐਡ ਆਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ
So Balgender Core, I don't see Balgender here. I see Amrit, Vidisha. Oh, actually, sorry, that's from another class. That's not your class. Hang on. I have to go and do something else. That was from another class.
ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ
Sort by recently added.
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਚਲਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੀ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਵੀ ਲੈ ਗਏ ਰੱਬ
Just a sec. I mean, it doesn't matter because I can get the attendance out of the chat box anyway. I'm just curious to see what's going on with this. Okay, we're going to start our class now. I just want to check one more thing, then we'll get going. S22. Hang on. Okay, guys, we're going to get going in a minute. I just want to look for one thing on this test. I'm just going to grab somebody's test at random and start going through it to talk. This will be, we're going to see about our final exam and so on. We'll talk about our class plan for evaluations, but these are the kinds of questions when your real test comes up, you know, at the end of the course. These are the kinds of things to look at.
ਇਹਨੇ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਕਸ਼ਨ ਲਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਉਤਰਾ ਹੀ ਚਲਾ
ਭਰਾ ਤੇਰਾ ਮਾਈਕ ਕੋਲ
ਵੀਰੇ ਤੂੰ ਮਿਊਟ ਕਰ ਲਾ
ਵੀਰੇ ਤੇਰਾ ਮਾਈਕ ਕੌਣ ਹੈ ਆਫ ਕਰ ਦੋ
Excuse me, sir.
Here, just a second. Hang on, I'll be with you in a minute. F22 Android May 01. So this should be the one where everybody's name is. Yeah, sorry, I have a question coming in. I'll answer the question in a minute. I just want to get to the bottom of this little. I only have 16 people in class, seriously. But here, everybody should now be seeing their name, right? So there's Charan Singh all the way down to Vipan Jot Singh. But only 16 people. That's sad. Go ahead. Sorry, question. Somebody asked a question.
Yeah, sir. I'm not able to see my name in list.
What's your name?
Balvinder Pal. B-A-L.
Did you send? Yeah. Did you? Yeah. I'm not sure why you're not showing. I'll fix that later. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Did you send me a chat comment? Did you just type hello to me in chat, just so I know you're here?
Okay.
Sir, my name is also not shown in the list.
I know. And for the second or third time now, I'm telling you, I don't know why that is. But if you just chat me, just say hello or something in the chat, that'll be fine. Then I'll know your attendance is.
Okay,
is
sir.
here. So just type hello. All right, guys, let's go and look at one of these quizzes now. We'll go through it and we'll see the questions and the answers, and then we'll see the course outline, and then we'll start working on our material. So I'm just going to grab somebody's work here. Let's see how people did. Don't pay too much attention to these numbers because these questions need to be manually graded. So if it says 0, that doesn't mean anything because, you know, I didn't manually grade those questions yet. Let's just look at somebody's work here. All right, let's take this one. So you guys know, first of all, to introduce the course, this is a course in Android application development. So mobile application development with the focus on the Android platform, right? Just want to make sure that you don't think it's a course in interior design or something, or wedding planning. So let's go and look through some of our questions here. What is an activity? So we're going to find out as we do our Android application development programming using Android Studio that an activity is a single focus thing the user can do. So if you imagine your phone, right, if you maybe use a mapping application to get driving instructions to a certain location, that would be an activity. Almost all activities interact with the user. The activity class is a class in Kotlin. Kotlin being the programming language for Android, takes care of creating a window for you in which you can place your user interface. And there's going to be the method we'll use. So that's one correct answer. Almost all activities interact with the user. So the activity class takes care of creating a window for you. That's basically the same thing as what we said in part A. And an activity is a UI button because it's something user has to interact with. So anyway, just file it away, right? Just think that as we're studying our material each week, these are the kinds of questions you're going to get in the final exam. All right, let's go to our next question here. How to switch between activities, create the activities, add the activities in the apps manifest. Right, in a little while, we'll start using Android Studio. If you do not have Android Studio, we'll teach you how to install it. It's free. Create an intent. There's our concept of intent again, referencing the activity class you want to switch to. Call the start activity, passing in the intent as a parameter, method to switch to the activity, and then create a back button for the new activity so user can go back to their previous context if they want. Right, so anyway, that's stuff for there. Question 3, what is materials design? We're going to find out that materials design in Android is actually a couple of things. It's a framework and a library that gives you things like backgrounds for your screen and sort of different textures for buttons and so on. We have an entire class, I think class 4, class 5, we talk about material design. Discuss view pager and page adapter. Once again, those are classes. Those are types of Android activities. So we're gonna, in one of our labs, we'll talk about how we use those classes, those Java classes. What is true about fragments? A fragment is a piece of the application's user interface. Interaction with fragments is done through Fragment Manager, which once again is a Kotlin class, because in Android here, we're going to be using the Java programming language to program our Android apps. And there's a kind of a special version of Java called Kotlin. So when we talk about things like Fragment Manager, that's going to be a Kotlin class. And it might sound pretty complicated, but our tool of Android Studio will do most of the work for us. The fragment class can be used many ways to achieve a variety of results. In its core, it represents a particular operation, yup. And all subclasses of fragment must include a constructor. Now, I'm not sure, have you guys had a Java class yet? In your program, have you had a course in Java in your learning path?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have. So when I talk about things like subclassing and so on. All right, Manpreet Kaur is asking, is there any quiz? Yes, Manpreet, I'm going to post the link to it again. My suggestion is if you have not done the quiz yet, don't really do it now because I'd rather if you listen to my talking, but I'll give you a little bit of a longer time for break. And if you haven't written the quiz yet, you can maybe write it during the break or something. So Manpreet, there's the link and it's available, but please don't do it yet because I'm going to talk about stuff and I want you to pay attention to me. All right. So anyway, now that was just like a little sort of warm up thing for our class. Now we're going to formally begin the class. So my name is Peter Sigurdsson. I'm an instructor here at Pierce College, and I teach in the programming, database, and mobile application development stream. And I have a background at IBM and a number of other tech companies. I've been doing IT longer than you've been alive. And in addition to teaching you how to deal with the technical aspects of programming, I'm going to try and bring some stories and some kind of other, talk about some stuff during the class in terms of how you can get the job and what kind of jobs are out there and how to look for the right job and how to manage yourself in the interview. Because ultimately the purpose of all of this stuff is to get a job, right? To get to make some money and so on. So these are all things that I'm going to try and help you with. If you have any questions at any point, you can email me, right? You can always ask during class. You have the microphone, or if it's something confidential or whatever, my email is in the Google Classroom page, but I'll also put it here. So peter.sigurdsson@purescollege.ca. So just send me an email at any point you have some questions. And I guess at this point, the next logical thing we should work on doing, how are we doing for time? Yeah, 2:20. Okay, good. So we're going to go over the course outline and the evaluation timetable. And then I'm going to show you how to install Android Studio. And it's possible you might already have it. If you're in this class, you're probably interested in app development. And if you don't have it, then we'll spend a couple of minutes now doing that. And then we'll start doing some exercises with making some simple Android applications. At any point, once again, if anybody has some questions or you're not really sure what's going on, well, just ask me, right? You can even send me a PM, a private message, because I know that students, like it's a natural human thing. You say, well, I don't want to say in front of my classmates that I don't understand because they'll think I'm not smart or something. First of all, nobody thinks that. But second of all, if you're self-conscious or you just don't want people to know you asked the question, just type it in the chat as a private message to me, and I will read the question and answer it without mentioning your name or something, so I won't embarrass you or something. So anyway, let's go and start doing that now. All right, so the next thing I'd like to do right now, and I know that online, it's a little bit harder to keep our mental attention focused comparing to being in the classroom. So something that I found works quite well, I'm going to use Google Docs, and I'm going to make a Google Doc sort of journal of our class. So at any point, I'll type what we're doing, and that way you can read it and hear it and see it. And if you're still needing some help, if you still don't totally understand what we're supposed to do at any point, just ask me and I'll explain it more. But let's go ahead and set up a Google Doc, and then we can also use that as a class journal. And then later on, when you're reviewing for the test or the exam or something, you can always go back and read it and say, oh yeah, that's right, on whatever, on class 2, we did this activity. So let me take a couple of seconds to get that set up, and then we'll start working with it, and we'll start recording things there. So you guys are now seeing my web page where it says Google Drive, yes? Because I have 3 monitors in front of me, and I hope I'm sharing the right one. So can you just type or just say yes? Are you seeing a web page that says Google Drive?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are. So I'm showing the right one. Okay, that's good. Just wanted to double check on that. So now let's go and get this done. It's going to change over to my professor account. I also have a YouTube channel that has quite a few good videos on Android application development and maybe some other subjects you're working on as well. So before we're done, I'll link that out to you. That, who knows, may have some stuff that'll help you with something. All right, so now let's make our class journal. Oh, I'll put the link over there. I'll do that right now before I forget about it. I'll put the link in your Google Classroom page so you can come back and reference to it later on. All right, so today is September 7th. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's put that up there in Google Classroom, and then we'll start working on studying our course outline. All right, great. You don't have permission to attach this file? Oh, I see, because it was made in another account? Jesus. You want to attach a copy. Well, it shouldn't matter anyway, because the link is view. Yeah, I'm not going to attach it there. You can just get to it from there. Google Classroom's not letting me attach it. All right, we're not going to spend time on that right now. All right, great. So now the first thing we're going to do, well, we had our start of class attendance quiz. And now we're going to review the course outline and evaluation timetable. So let's do that now, and that's in Google Classroom, of course, so let's go over there and get it. Oh, no, that's not what I want. I want classroom and class marker. All right, so let's start by looking through the course outline. So this course is an introduction to Android mobile device application development and programming mobile devices in general. Lectures and labs focus on how to implement entry-level mobile applications for Android and other mobile platforms, building on the knowledge of your previous courses. Topics include a comparison of native, hybrid, and web-based mobile technologies, starting with fundamentals of mobile, native mobile application development, the Android software development kit, and Eclipse IDE. Well, actually, no, I don't know what they were talking about when they said that. We're not going to be using Eclipse at all. We are going to be using Android Studio, which contains the Android software development kit. In fact, our next activity after this is going to be to make sure that everybody has downloaded. In fact, I think I deleted Android Studio because I was out of space on my hard drive. So I need to reinstall it myself, and I will demonstrate it. So our next activity will be to install Android Studio, which is IDE, right? It's an integrated development, a development environment, and software development kit for Android. All right, so I'll show you where that is and how to get that. That's all. Should take about 5-6 minutes or something to download. Students will develop the ability to understand the basic principles of building applications for mobile devices and familiarity with common Android application programming interfaces. For example, we've already seen about intents, right? We don't quite know what that is yet. We haven't really studied it, but you know that the intent is one of the core concepts in Android programming. In fact, one of the things I like to do, especially in an introductory level class, is let's use our lecture journal here. We'll keep track. We'll make a dictionary of some of our key terms, right? I'm not going to spend time right now fully developing it because we just want to go over the course outline. But by the time it's, time to write our exam or something, and you're wondering what kind of questions you're going to be asked, well, this is one thing you can go back to. You should be doing this by yourself, by the way, in every class you're in. I hope everybody has a piece of paper and a pen beside them, and you're taking notes, right? Because that's kind of an important thing for success in any type of course or any type of studying. But I'll help you out a little bit. Some of the things you should be keeping track of by yourself are some of the key terms as we encounter them. So intent is one of them, right? Don't know what that is yet, but we'll get to it. And Android Studio is another term you're going to be asked about. All right, let's go back to our course outline. Have a familiarity, so you're going to become familiar with the capabilities and limitations of developing for mobile devices. Students will have the ability, or you're going to develop the ability, to describe how to send text messages, server message blocks is the protocol, SMS, service message blocks, messages and emails programmatically, and how to intercept incoming notifications, demonstrate a good understanding of various wireless technologies. Right, so we'll talk about some of these things: Java 2 Enterprise Edition, HTML, wireless application protocol, as well as be able to differentiate between Android and other mobile systems. So let's go back to our notes here, and there's a couple of points I'm going to make. All of this stuff is in the PowerPoint I'm going to share with you as well. However, sometimes seeing something a couple of times helps reinforce it more. So what is Android, right? That is going to be a potential final exam question. Now, I'm not going to say it's a final exam question because the office says we're not really supposed to tell you the questions. So that's our little code word, PFET, potential final exam question, whoops, Q. What is Android? And if we were in class, I guess next week we're going to be together in class, right? I think in this, actually, I'm not sure. I'm going to research that and post a notice. I actually think this course being a term 1 course, I'm not even going to talk about whether it's online or in class. I'll research and I'll post a notice. But anyway, what I was just going to say is if we were in class together, it would be much easier to have class discussions. It's much harder online. So largely, I'm just going to kind of tell you the answer, because if we try to have online class discussions, things drag on forever. But Android is an operating system, right? And it's based on Linux. It's a Linux derivative. So hopefully you're familiar that Linux is a Unix variant operating system, open source, and Android is a customized version of Linux. So Linux derivative for mobile devices, derivative. There's probably other stuff we could say about it, but that's good enough for right now. So we can say, and on your final exam, you could say Android is an operating system optimized, fine-tuned, made to be as good as possible for mobile hardware architectures. And being Linux derivative means it's open source. So anybody, including you and including me, can go in and make changes to Linux and adjust it to better work with the kinds of things we need to do. Right, so there's your textbook, which I think I have that textbook. So I know students never want to buy a textbook because you're students, you don't have money, but I do buy it. I do buy the textbooks for the courses I teach, and then I use them in some of the lectures, and some of the really good stuff I will copy and paste out to your, sorry, it's been a long day, out to your lecture notes document. So you'll have the important parts that you need. I'm just opening up my Kindle here. Hang on. Oh, I'm so thirsty today. I'm really dehydrated. Yep, so that is your textbook by Anzuzi. It's actually a very nice textbook. I like it. And it's something we're going to be using as we go forward here. Want to make sure I have the right edition, 2015. Anzuzi and Darcy. Yeah, I have it. So anyway, application basics, design, and how we deliver the application. Some of the stuff we'll be talking about is how do we get our Android application up into the Google Play Store so other people can download it, and maybe even potentially we can make some money if we come up with a good application. Maybe they'll pay us for it, who knows. So anyway, that's going to be the basis of some of our lecture. Right, so anyway, that's the textbook, and I think I paid not very much. I think I paid about $20 for it on Kindle. If you take yourself seriously as somebody who wants to actually get a job and convince somebody to pay you money to do this, I think it's a good textbook. I think it would be worthwhile. So course objectives: upon successful completion of this course, you're going to effectively solve an array of mobile computing problems, design, implement, and evaluate computerized systems in general, analyze a problem or task, and figure out how to use available computing resources to solve it, research and apply the latest developments in mobile applications, support and secure computerized network and database environments, communicate professionally, right? So we have some professional skills in here. And in terms of your hand-in work and so on, I'll give you some rubrics to sort of give you an opportunity to practice your written presentation skills. Incorporate data and communication design patterns, including the internet. Complete all work, right? Basically just do a good job type of thing is what they're saying here. So here's our course content. Introduction to Android. We're going to talk about that today, the Android software development kit and threading. And because you guys have not had Java, I'm going to step it back a little bit. I'll bring in some basic programming concepts to cover some of the core stuff we would cover in an introduction to programming course. Android application design principles, services. We're going to see how services work with intents. Android application design principles, leveraging. Oh, have you guys had, that's another thing I wanted to ask. Have you had a course in database and SQL in your program if you had a database course?
Yeah, SQL.
You have had database, but you've not had Java, but no Java.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Okay.
Okay, very good. I just want to make sure. Doesn't matter, because whatever you're missing, I can cover it. I just want to make sure I'm talking to you sort of at the right level. Yeah, so there is broadcasting and receiving intents. Android design principles, right? Designing effective user interfaces. Handling user input. Working with APIs such as Google Maps. There's a bunch of APIs out there we can use, but Google Maps is kind of fun. Multimedia, so we might make an app that does music or video streaming. Accessing Android hardware sensors like the GPS, using location and map APIs, code a complete Android application, learn how to use sensors. Well, we've already said that. So anyway, that's your course outline. Now let's go and see what's going to happen in terms of your evaluations, your tests, and so on. And for that, we're going to go over here. By the way, this is something which is true for the entire college, all courses in addition to this one. So keep this document handy, academic weeks. So if in this course or any of your other courses, they say like week 7 or something, you'll say, okay, that's October 17th. So keep that document handy. Now let's look at our learning plan. So today we're going to talk about introduction to Android, get Android Studio up and going, see what the Android SDK looks like, and generally introduce some Kotlin programming concepts. And then week 2, working with services. Week 3, databases and SQL, and broadcasting and receiving the intent. The intent is a well, it's an object, right? It's a Kotlin Java object, which conveys information from one partition of your program to another. Designing effective user interfaces, handling input, designing for accessibility. So that means if somebody is, has some extra requirements, maybe visually impaired or something that they can't read or they can't see an image, we might put some sort of a screen reader in our application so the program could read to them the stuff they wouldn't be able to see. So that's accessibility. Using network APIs, coding some multimedia solutions, working with the hardware, working with location and map APIs. And then the last couple of classes will finish the project and review for the final exam. So anyway, on week 4, we're going to have our quiz 1. And starting from next week and in week 3, we'll start making a list of questions. So in our Google Lecture Notes document, I'll start compiling a list of questions you may expect for your quizzes and exams. So if you just study and pay attention to those questions, you'll be okay. And then week 5, we're going to have our first assignment, which will be to design a simple Android app using Android Studio. By the way, even if you don't have an Android phone, if you have like an iPhone or something, doesn't matter because your design is all going to be done in Android Studio, and Android Studio is freely available. And Android Studio, the problem we do have is when we teach iOS, Apple, iPhone, iOS, you must have a Macintosh computer to run Xcode. So that is a limitation for some students who don't have a Mac computer. But here in Android land, Android Studio will run on Windows, or it actually runs better on Mac, right? So if you have a Mac computer, Android Studio runs better on Mac than on Windows. So there won't be any limitations for anybody on that. Anyway, next week we'll start working on your assignment, but it's basically going to be to just build a very simple Android app. And then we have quiz 2 here on week 7. Week 9, we're going to have assignment 2 is due. Week 11, quiz 3. And then your project is going to be due on week 13, and final exam will be week 14. So anyway, the quizzes and final exams, let me go and capture this in your lecture notes. So assignments will be done in Android Studio. And how you hand them in, well, you basically zip up your project, and I'll give you a location in Google Classroom to upload that to, but it's basically in Android Studio. And your quizzes and final exam will be done in Classroom, this class marker tool that we use today. So yeah, anyway, now some students said this morning that they could not see their name in the quiz. They said they'd written the quiz, but their name is not there. Now, I've been using class marker for going on about 8 or 9 years now. Nobody has ever had a problem with it. So if I'm not seeing your name in the class marker record, I'm going to say you didn't write the quiz. Today's quiz doesn't matter. It had nothing to do with anything. It was just sort of a little classroom icebreaker activity. But we do need to make sure probably most classes, most days, I'll start the class with a little review quiz to sort of show you what questions are coming up on the final exam. But you should make sure that you're able to work with class marker. Now, one problem that some people have is it does not work in Internet Explorer. So we're going to say here use Chrome, or Firefox is good too, not Internet Explorer, because we already know that class marker does not work with Internet Explorer. And if for whatever reason I don't see your record in the class marker records, right, I'm going to say, well, they didn't write the final exam. Now you might say, but I wrote it, my name's just not there. My answer is going to be, well, sorry, but if I don't see your name, I'm saying you didn't write the final exam, because I know the tool does work. Anyway, we'll have another practice quiz next week. We'll give it another shot. But for the people whose name I could not see, that's the one thing I was thinking. Maybe you were using Microsoft Internet Explorer, which is a bad idea. So use Chrome or Firefox, and I know for a complete fact it works just fine. So anybody who's still having a problem, will work on that next week. All right. So anyway, yeah, that's it. So done via the class marker tool. And now you're going to say, well, what kinds of questions are we going to get? Basically, every single class, I'm going to give you a start of class attendance quiz. So you're going to see the questions, multiple choice, true, false, match up the concepts, short answer, and some writing code. So there will be some questions on the final exam, writing code based on stuff we've done in class. As well, I might show you samples of code and ask you to analyze or to say what's going to be the output of it. So yeah, so there will be coding questions on the final. Any other questions, just keep a note of them probably over the next couple of weeks, because this is just our first class, right? So over the next couple of weeks, hopefully all this stuff will start to make sense to you. All right, have we finished with the course outline yet? I think so. Let's go and double check. Yeah, and we finished with the, actually, that's pretty good. We did most of this pretty okay. So it's a bit early for a break. Well, usually we take a break on the hour. It's 10 minutes to 3. But let's take a break now, because when we come back, we're going to start actually talking about the class material, and we'll start going through our PowerPoint. So anyway, that's it. Let's take a 15-minute break. We will resume at 3:05. On break, resume at 3:05. I'm just going to leave a note to myself to restart the recording. I turn it off during break because I don't want to have like a lot of, sort of empty space on the recording. I don't know, it's just irritating. That's just a note to me.
ਮਲਕੀਤ ਯਾਰ ਤੇਰਾ ਕੈਮਰਾ ਆਨ ਆ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ ਲਾ
ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਬਾਈ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਬ్రో ਸ਼ਰਵਨ
हाँ ब्रा
ਯੈਸ ਸਰ
है
ਯੈਸ ਸਰ
यस सर
ਚੱਲ ਠੀਕ ਆ
ਨਾਲੇ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਯਾਰ WhatsApp ਗਰੁੱਪ ਬਣਾ ਲਓ ਤੇ ਲਿੰਕ ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬਾਈ ਦੇਖਦਾ 2 ਮਿੰਟ
ਦੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੀਏ ਸਰ ਨਾ ਐਡ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ
Audio level test, audio level testing. All right, guys, sorry for the delay. My computer died for some reason. Well, I know the reason. I forgot to plug it in and it ran out of power. So anyway, hopefully we're all back together now. It is 3:09, so I think we had the break till 3:05. So anyway, hopefully everybody had a chance to get their coffee and so on. So let's carry on now. Now, actually, I have to go back and open everything because when my computer went out, it all died type of thing. So let's go back and open our Google Doc and use it to keep ourselves organized. And I got to go back and reshare my screen. So we'll say share screen. All right, great. So here's the class journal. Now got to open that. Oh, actually, yeah, we said we wanted to install Android Studio, so let's go and take care of that. I'm just going to keep this list updated so we know what we've accomplished. All right, if there's any questions or concerns, everybody should have their mic turned on, and I have my mic, so hopefully everybody can hear me. And if you talk, I should be able to hear you. Yeah, I've got my right mic set up. Okay, good. So what do we do in terms of Android Studio? Well, first of all, let's go and find it, right? So what just happened? All my screens went dark. Why is that happening? Oh, I guess it was just for a second. So step one is download the installable. Guys, I'm getting some background chatter. I think people are talking to each other. So I'm going to mute participants. If you want to talk or make a comment, you can unmute yourself. But just in respect for the entire class, I'd like to ask you to keep yourself locally muted unless you want to ask something to the entire class, because it's very distracting, right? It's distracting to me and to other class participants to sort of hear little private conversations that are going on. So step one is we need to download the installable for Android Studio. So let's go and get that. Jesus, why does my screen keep blanking out?
Sir, you are not audible.
We can't hear you, sir.
Ah,
Okay.
headset was turned off. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, not a problem. You didn't miss too much. All I said is let's go and get the installable for Android Studio, and maybe you already have it. I actually don't have it because I ran out of space on my hard drive, so I had to deinstall it. So now I can go and install it and demo to everybody. First of all, let me check to make sure how much space I have, because I might have to put it on my external hard drive. And you might have the same thing, right? If you don't have enough space, you can just go out to an electronics store and buy like a little USB key or something. 64 gig is like $5, and you can install it on that. But I'm going to see how much space I have before I continue with this. My screens keep blanking. Why is that? Sharing stopped because the external display was interrupted. Yeah, I know that. Should be better now, though. All right, so everybody go to that URL, which I just put in the chat box, and let's do this. Oh yeah, I was checking to make sure how much hard drive space I have. Well, I have 25 gig, which should be enough for right now. So I'll put it on my C drive. So work with me now. Go to your browser. Go to develop. Your default speaker is changed to Corsair. Good. This is really irritating. I don't like it when things don't work properly. Well, hopefully it'll keep working for the rest of the class, and then I'll fix it up later. So now you should be seeing my screen properly. Yeah, screen 3. So let's go to that website now. So go in your browser to developer.android.com. And find the installable for your appropriate system, right, for Windows or Mac, and then go ahead and install it. So here I'll say download Android Studio and accept the license terms. You should be seeing me do the installation now. If you're not seeing it, let me know, because once again, I had some problems with my external monitors, but you should be seeing me downloading and you should follow along, right? If you need more help, if you need me to talk about this slower, well, that's what I'm here for. So whatever you need, you tell me and I'll do it. I can do many things, but reading minds is not one of them. I'm just plugging in my external hard drive to download the installable. So right now, just download the installable and run it. And if you need me to help you, if you need me to talk you through how to do that, well, then you ask and I'll do that at that point. So I'm still waiting for it to download. It's partially downloaded. So when that finishes, it'll carry on. All right, looks like it's finished now. So now I'm going to double click and start the installer. Right, so there it goes. Now I have to select certain options like where to install it. While you're waiting, you can go and set yourself up with an account on developer.android.com. Later on, we're going to see how we can, we're not really going to actually do it. I mean, you could if you want to, but you don't have to. We're going to see how we could upload our app, our Android app, to the Android PlayStation Store. I usually don't like to litter these sites with sort of nonsense, right? So if you feel you've made a really nice app and other people might really want to download it, you're free to go ahead and position it there. But we're going to talk about the process of how you do it, but we're not actually going to do that because as I discussed, unless you think it's a really good app that people might want to pay money for or download for free and use it, we don't really want to sort of litter up or put a bunch of nonsense on these sites. So anyway, let's see how I'm doing now. So now it's asking me a version of Android Studio is already installed. It's recommended. Yeah, that's odd. I thought I removed it. It's recommended that you delete that. All right, so I'm going to go to this directory and just wipe out whatever's there. Oh, I do have it there. Interesting. All right, so I'm just going to select that and press Shift Delete to get rid of it. All right, good. Directory is empty. Now I can go back to here and say next. Now, if you're on Mac, it's going to install in the application directory. On Windows, I don't really like putting things in program files. It makes problems. So I'm just going to get rid of that and install it right off the root of the C drive. So C, Android Studio. And I'm also going to get rid of the space because it's not really good to have spaces in your file names. Just configuring my displays again. I'll be back with you in a second. All right. So yeah, I'm still screen sharing. I just went to one of my big monitors. So you guys should be able to see that okay. So now let's click on next once you've got that set up the way you like it. And again, if you're not sure of how to do any of this stuff, just let me know. We can repeat through the process again. Although I think this should be pretty simple. I don't think it should be too big a challenge for anybody.
Excuse me, sir.
Go ahead, talk.
I have installed that application. Now what I have to do now?
Pay attention and do what I do. So I'm just finishing and installing it right now myself. So I'm going to click on next. I'm going to start Android Studio. We're now going to spend about 2 or 3 minutes just sort of looking around. We're not going to make, we might get by the end of the day, we might make a simple application. I'll see how the class goes, or we might start that up at beginning of class next week. But for right now, we're just going to, now is there anybody who was not able to get their Android Studio up and running? Are we all good with having it there? Now, in my case, it's asking me for ability to access through my firewall. So ADB is basically the Android build process. So I'm going to say allow access. So anyway, that's what Android Studio looks like. Is there anybody who is not seeing this on their screen? Right, so let's look up at the top menu. Once again, my monitors keep flickering out. It's very irritating. I don't know, they were working fine before. I don't know what happened here. But anyway, so we're going to go up to the top and just take a look through the menus. Right, so let's actually start by closing everything. So we'll say close project. And now we'll make a new project. So we'll say new project. Now you see here some of our basic concepts. So we're going to go and take some lecture from the textbook We'll take a break in a little while, but we see that we can work with activities. So we could have a no activity app. I think that would be a very boring app, but we could do that. We could have a basic activity. Remember in your quiz this morning, we talked about the concept of material. Well, there would be a template involving material. And now you're familiar with the idea that apps can have different kinds of navigation along the top, left, right, or bottom area of the screen. So here would be a bottom navigation activity. Compose is another concept we're going to start learning about. So here would be a compose activity and full screen. And here's something with a template that would let you use ads. If you think you have a great app and people will pay you money to advertise on your app. Ad mobile is a template for advertising in mobile. Here's a Google Maps activity, a Google Pay activity, a response, and a couple of other activities. So anyway, for right now, let's just choose a simple one such as no activity and say next. And just give it some name. I'll call it Peter 1. And package name doesn't matter too much right now. That's going to be the location it gets saved in. Now you see here the language can be Java, or later we're going to see how it can be Kotlin. I'm actually going to change that to Kotlin because Kotlin's a bit simpler. This is going to specify the minimum software development kit level of the Android device you're going to install this onto. This is saying your ad will run on less than 1% of all devices. So if I go up to API 32, Android API SV2, it's pretty limited. What happens if I make it earlier, like maybe the Oreo, like the API level 26? I'll choose that. Now it's saying your app will run on 88% of devices. So I'm going to stick with that. Use legacy Android support. Well, I'm going to leave that unchecked for right now, and I'll click on finish. Oh, the path C drive is not writable. All right, well, what happens if I put it on my portable drive? Okay, I'm going to put it on the E drive. So whatever's going on in your own computer, obviously I can't see your computer. If you run into problems in the labs, the one thing we can do is you can share your screen in Zoom and I can look at it and maybe help you out. But for right now, if you can follow along with this bonus, even if you can't, just watch on for right now and see what's happening. So now that I've changed my save location to another drive, is it going to fix this problem? Let's say, no, I guess not. Path C is not writable. I remember I had this problem last class as well. I'm trying to remember how I fixed that. I don't know where that problem is coming from. Well, anyway, for right now, we know we have Android Studio up and running. So we're going to go to our PowerPoint slides and do some lecture for a while, and then we'll come back to this. Right now, it is 3:30. We're going till 5 o'clock today. Let's take a break until 3:50, and then when we resume, we'll go and take some lecture, and maybe I'll remember what's the thing I did to solve this problem last time. So anyway, on break, resume at 3:50. let's pick it up again. Audio level test. Yeah, so some people were asking about the class recording. So I'm recording them in Zoom, and generally within 1 day after the class, I will post them up in a Google Classroom. It takes a little while. The recording has to assemble and stuff, but yeah, I'll make the recordings available. So as we're doing, I mean, today it's pretty simple, right? It's just introduction, but some of our lab activities will get, well, relatively complicated. So if you want to go back and watch, you know, the procedure again or something, the video will be there. So anyway, let's carry on. And where did we leave off now? Sorry, I'm just gonna, oh yeah, so what have we accomplished so far? Let's go back to our, am I sharing my screen? I don't think so. Okay, now I'm sharing my screen. Good. All right, great. All right, so we've installed Android Studio, and if it didn't work for you, just play with it after class or something. But I'm assuming everybody should be pretty okay with it, and you should be able to get it up and running. So I've turned off my Android Studio. So how do I start it? Well, in Macintosh, you're going to press Control Space Bar. Then you can just start typing Android, and the name of the app will autocomplete. Then you can click on it and start it running. In Mac, it's pretty simple. In Windows, you go to your Cortana Start menu and just find Android Studio. Oh, there it is. And then just click on the icon to get it up and going, and there it's going to start up. So now we're going to do some lecture and see what Android Studio is. It's an IDE. It's also a Android runtime. So you can develop your Android apps purely in Android Studio without needing an Android phone. Now, I was having a problem before the break. It was saying something about I couldn't save my project. I tried to do something to fix that. I don't know if it worked or not. Let's go and take a look, see at that. So here I'm going to say new project. And I'll try making something with, I don't know, maps, for example. And it wants to save on the C drive, which seems to be a problem. So I'm going to change that to E. The project location cannot be in the file system root. Okay, how about that? Okay, anyway, that worked. So yeah, now we know that Android Studio is working. If it's not working for you, let me know. We'll try and fix that up. But once I do this, and we're not going to, maybe we'll start next week, right? Because we need to have some more background knowledge and information before we completely understand what's going on. But we can see here that we have code, which is actually Kotlin code, right? It could be Java or Kotlin, and I chose to go with Kotlin. So I think you guys told me you have not taken a course in Java yet, but if you did, you'd recognize that as fairly simple Java stuff. And we're going to see the details of what we have here. Here's our manifest file. Here's our maps activity file. And we're going to go and start pulling that apart. Not right now, but it's enough to know that we can at least get our application up and running. So that's good. And here, if I go and say in the run menu, run, let's see what happens. It's compiling. You see down here on the bottom status bar, if you're IDE, it's giving you some report. It's saying it's configuring and compiling projects. It found a Gradle build script. All right, we don't know what Gradle is yet, but we're going to go and look into that. and I can sort of click around on some of these options. Here I have a problems tab if there are any problems in my build, right? There's my terminal, and there's my build steps. And you see over here, it's showing me a progress bar. So it's saying download play services. So it's going out to Google. Sorry, I don't know if it's happening on your end. My monitor keeps flicking out, which is it's irritating. But here, this progress bar is showing me the progress of my build. Importing, Gradle project, click to see all running background tasks. So after you just make a simple project of some template and click on run, and then just observe the build process, just so at least one time you've seen it. All right, I think my build is finished. I don't see any more progress happening on it. Yeah, it says my project is finished. So I'm going to go up here now. Do you see up here at the top? I have a little run button. See that little green button, run app. So I'm going to click and find out what happens. So click. And you can see your run tasks are generating over here in the build output panel. Now, right now, my project isn't doing anything because it's just a template. I haven't put any logic into it to make it do anything. But next week, we're going to see how we can make a simple project. We can go to our device manager. We can select some virtual device, right? You don't need an actual Android phone. It's just a software simulator. But there I'm going to choose Pixel as my device to emulate my device, my program on. Right? If I had a physical phone, I could pair it as well. I'm just going to stick with virtual because I think many people in the class probably don't have an Android phone. If you do, you can hook it up to your computer using a USB-C cable, and you could deploy your code to your actual physical device. But here I'm going to go to Actions and click on the Run button. Cannot start Android virtual device. Yeah, of course, because I need to do more stuff to configure it. But I don't want to get into that right now, as this is our introductory class. I don't want to get to too much complexity up front. But anyway, we can put a check mark besides our item on Android Studio because we've definitely got it up and running. All right, so I'm going to close it and put it away for now. And here for install Android Studio, we're just going to stamp that as done because we've done that. And the next thing I wanted to get to here was to introduce our PowerPoint workbook and see some of the concepts that are there. So before we move on, let me just take a quick check here. Was everybody able, or has everybody succeeded in getting Android Studio to run on your computer? Is there anybody? Because if you're having a problem, I'd like to know about it from now, because next week when we start working on assignment 1, hopefully hopefully everybody is going to be okay with it. All right, so I guess you're okay. So if you do have any problems later, you can email me or something. We can do the troubleshooting, but I'm going to assume for right now, everybody is pretty okay on this. So let's start by taking a look, or let's go and work on the PowerPoint workbook now. That's going to be our task right now. So I'm going to share this out with you. I'm going to give you a link. I'm guessing that everybody is okay with Dropbox. In some classes, some students have said that I don't know, they can't understand Dropbox or something. It's too hard for them. So if that's a problem, let me know. I'll upload the exact file. Having said that, I prefer to use Dropbox because if I make changes, because I teach this 3 times a week, and I might make changes in one file in one class, and if I kind of forget to update it in your class, you won't get the latest and greatest. So for right now, unless somebody wants me to actually upload the physical file, I'm just going to upload the Dropbox link. So let's take a couple of seconds to do that. Interesting. For some reason, I'm not seeing my Dropbox icon. All right, I'll just upload the file for right now. That'll keep it simple. Okay, I'm just uploading this to Google Classroom. Hang on, just be another couple of seconds. So I'll make an announcement called Student Learning Materials because I'm going to be putting other stuff there as well, such as we're going to have lab worksheets and stuff. So we'll make this one announcement to sort of be the storage locker for everything. So Student Learning Materials. All right, great. So you've got that now. So now let's go and start looking through that. Okay, I don't see any questions or concerns. So I'm guessing that means everything is okay. So let's carry on. Just checking if the meeting is going okay here. Yep. Okay, great. Everything is sharing okay. All right, so we're going to go through the PowerPoints now, and I'm going to assign you some reading as homework before next week once we get started on this. That is from another class. I was just seeing if there's anything here that's kind of beneficial to you guys. Yeah, there might be. I might share some of this stuff out with you later, but not now. All right, there's PowerPoint. Whoops. Oh, there's lecture notes from a previous term of teaching this. So I guess if you want, you can go and look at these other lecture notes as well. There might be some stuff there that'll help you. So this course will help you build a strong base of foundational skills on developing apps that can run on the Android mobile device. So you're going to learn Android applications, how to create them, how to understand the concepts and techniques used in creating applications. You're going to deploy applications on Android devices, as well as to the Google PlayStation Store. So if you want to publicize your app for other people to get it, we'll see how to do that. It's not too difficult. It's a $25 fee. Unlike Apple, right? If you want to put stuff in the Apple App Store, that's more expensive, but Android, it's not that expensive. How to create user interfaces on Android applications, and we're going to learn to describe what the Android operating system is. So some of our core learning topics, the Android ecosystem. So that means the collection of software, build tools, the operating system, and the hardware, right? So the actual, we'll get into a bit on the actual hardware of the motherboard, different versions of Android, challenges of Android app development, and in general, what kind of things do we need in an app? Could be an iPhone app or an Android app. What are the basic architectural considerations of it? Right, so this is actually from another course code, but the concepts are the same, right? Pretty much every introductory level course in the world talks about the same stuff. So building applications, deploying applications, troubleshooting and debugging applications, and understanding how to describe your applications. Challenges of Android development. Well, one problem is we have multiple different screens and resolutions. So how do I make my user interface work in a way that's going to be nice for somebody with maybe a very old phone with a small screen compared to maybe a user who just bought the latest phone with a sort of a big 3-inch tablet type screen? Performance, how to make your apps run smoothly and quickly. Security, how to keep the source code and user data safe. Compatibility, how do we write one code base which is going to run on the latest hardware as well as earlier, 6 or 7 year old hardware? Marketing, understand the market and your users. It doesn't have to be expensive to do marketing, but it can be. Now, some of the building blocks of the basic app. So resources, layouts, images, strings, and colors, right? So your resource files, which are going to be XML files. Next class, we'll look at Android Studio and we'll see them. So we have components. Components can be activities, services, and helper classes. The manifest file is an XML file that contains information about your app and about the developer, right? So things such as which languages it's supported in, what its minimum hardware and Android operating system requirements are, what other components such as databases it might need. And then we have build configuration. So we have this thing called an APK file. And the APK file is actually what you upload to the PlayStation Store. So if you make a cool app, you want to upload it and start selling it and making your millions of dollars, the APK file is the physical output from Android Studio that you upload to Google PlayStation. Google Play Store. See if I have any questions or comments coming in. Not so far. All right. So comparisons between Apple's iOS and Android, iPhone and iOS, Apple controls the entire infrastructure. Apple controls and iOS operating system controls what are called the Apple Foundation class libraries. It's proprietary. They don't reveal the details of it to anybody. We have to count on the magic that's going on behind the scenes in iOS. We can't inspect the source code and learn about the details of how it's working. iOS is a proprietary closed source, non-documented hardware and operating system ecosystem. In Android, the developer studio controls or counts on a properly functioning JVM. So if any of you were not able to get your Android Studio working, here's one troubleshooting technique you can use. Open a command prompt and just type Java. And you see here I have Java version 11.0.12. If you have other versions of Java, that shouldn't be any problem. But if you do not have any Java, right, if you get some message like command not found, meaning the Java command not found, that would definitely explain your Android Studio not working, because Android Studio does count on Java to do the job. We are running a third-party platform, which is Android. If there are any disconnects between the Android tooling and the JVM, you're in charge of fixing it. If you have a problem with Apple, you can open a support ticket with the Apple Help Desk, and they have to fix it, right? They have to get it working, because if you're an Apple developer, to start with, you paid a $100 a year fee to become a certified Apple developer. And one of the things that $100 guarantees you is assistance of the tech desk. Whereas in Android, there's nobody to help you, right? You own every part of the hardware and software, which is another way of saying if something doesn't work, well, you better be good at coming up with some idea, because nobody else is going to help you fix it. There is no in-charge person to help you fix problems. You were the in-charge person over here in Android. Now, this is something that I've been working on myself as a little side hobby project. It's called the Freedom Phone. It's basically a Google phone that you build yourself from kit parts, because some people say that it's more of an iOS thing, right? But they say your mobile device is listening to what you're talking and reporting it back to Apple and Android. So as a little sort of curiosity thing, or as a little sort of fun project, some people actually buy the parts and they build their own phone. If anybody wants more details on that, let me know. You can just go and Google Freedom Phone. I think the kit's about like $200 or something like that. But then you'll have a fully functioning phone where you built it and you know every part of what's going on with it. I'm not going to talk too much about the whole aspect of being a programmer analyst right now, because we've already covered a bunch of new topics. I'll probably loop back to this in a subsequent course, but I'm going to talk about developing some skills related to being a programmer analyst, which is understanding how to apply some UML and some other design techniques to your coding work. So what is Android? Any developer can customize Android. Android is a Linux operating system. It's open source. And you're completely free to customize it as much as you want. Having said that, if it breaks, there's no help desk to help you. You're in charge of fixing it by yourself. You break it, you fix it. An Android app is a series of interactive screens written in Java and XML. It uses the Android software development kit. It uses Android libraries, which are basically Kotlin Java libraries, and the Android application framework. It is executed by the Android Runtime Virtual Machine, or ART, which is just the Java virtual machine, basically. That's what it is. Right, I'll leave you to go and study this slide by yourself. We'll come back to it later on once we start building some applications. But you see here, these libraries are Java Kotlin libraries, which are customized to talk to the hardware on your Android phone. And here we made a comment. We said that the Android app uses Android libraries in the Android application development framework. Well, here are the libraries: WebKit, right? SGL, SSL, SQLite, and so on are program libraries written in Kotlin Java, which support the operation of applications on your Android phone. Google Play Store is the customary place we go to get apps for our Android phone. And we're going to talk about how to do that, right? In a future class, we will actually talk about how you can deploy your apps to the world. We've done this, right? So we've already done this exercise. We started Android Studio. We created and ran. So I'll just add that, create and run a simple app, but we did that. If you haven't done that yet, just maybe tomorrow after class, tonight or tomorrow or something, just play around with that. And there's some documentation there which talks you through how to do that. That's from one of my own documents from a previous class. You can go and study that. Right, so I have some instructions there, which we've already actually covered off right now, but if you want to see that again, that's where it is. Android is a Linux derivative operating system built for mobile phone hardware. It's based on the Linux kernel, developed by Google. It's used for touchscreen mobile devices. And Google Play Store features more than 3.3 million apps, they tell us. The app is developed on an application known as Android Studio. These executable apps are installed through a bundle or package called the Android Package Kit, or APK. By the way, these sound like super good questions to me in terms of your final exam, which is coming up on week 14. I would take a note of the fact that your final exam questions are going to come from stuff like this. Features of Android. Android is a powerful open source operating system. Right, I'll leave you to go and read through all those details by yourself. Just read through this slide later on. The Android SDK is a set of development tools developed by Google to facilitate building Android applications. The Android SDK is a collection of software development tools and libraries. They provide all necessary tools to code the application from scratch and do testing and development. Android Studio is the official integrated development environment for Google's Android operating system. Develop, run, debug, test, and package apps, and monitor and test the performance of your apps. So again, I'll leave it to you to go and read through these slides and memorize them. Android Software Development Kit provides users with debuggers, program code monitors and editors, libraries, virtual devices, documentation, and sample code. So you have Android Studio now, so I'll leave it to you to go and play around with a little bit. Right, here's a tutorial on creating an app, which we're going to do next week. What is the Android runtime? So a Java program that provides a series of objects. We have a special name for that set of objects, which is the Android Java SDK, which make method calls available. We as developers call to those method calls to get services to deliver the algorithm of our application. The emulator running as numerous threads in the JVM of Android Studio. The emulator is a software program that behaves like an actual physical device you can run your code on. Device, the motherboard of the Android phone, is doing the same job as Android Studio and hosting that application when we're running directly on the hardware. So the device is just your actual phone. Right, so there's another web link you can go and look at, developer.android.com. Android versions, I'll leave it to you to go and study through that. Okay, guys, it's about 4:30, and I know our class is running till 5, but I'm going to end the class a bit early now because I'd like you to use, you can do it now or later on, but I'd like you to read to, because I can read you this stuff or you can read through it by yourself. I think probably better than I can read it to you. So next week, we're going to start here with developing some Android applications. So I would like you to read up to slide 41. So, you know, this half an hour that I'm giving you back from the class, I expect you to spend that just reading the next 20 slides of the slide. So homework for next class, read up to slide 41 as a prep work for our lab developing an app. And by the way, this lab is going to focus into, right, this will lead into your assignment 1. So make sure you do that so you know how to do the assignment. All right, guys, any other questions or concerns? I'm going to end the class a couple of minutes early today because I want to give you the time to go and study the PowerPoints. I think it's more productive if you study them by yourself rather than me reading them to you. You can sort of just sit in peace and quiet and absorb the material. We have any questions or anything else we'd like to discuss before we end up today's class? I'm going to make a note of this in your Google Doc so you have that handy. All right, very good. Well, I don't see any questions right now, so I'm going to end up the class now. I'm going to post the video later on. It generally takes about 2 or 3 hours before I get a notification that the video has been sort of finalized. It's ready to kick out. So I will send out the video probably sometime tomorrow. Any questions, email me. So what you're going to do right now, because our class goes for about another 30 minutes. So I want you to use that time to read through the slides by yourself. It's independent lab time for you to work on that right now. and you can go back into Android Studio and make another simple app. All right, guys, so I don't see any other questions. If you have any concerns, send me an email. Meanwhile, we're going to end up the class right now. We're going to see you next week. All right, bye, everybody. See you later.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I think next week is, thank you, you're welcome. I think next week is going to be physically in the classroom. I will post, right, because the office is doing the best they can. The office is taking direction from the government. So everybody is just doing whatever they're supposed to do according to the government. But I'm pretty sure, actually, no, Jesus Christ, so I might be getting this confused. I think since this is a semester, I shouldn't say anything because my brain's a bit tired now. I think this class will be running online for the entire term. I think so because it's a level 1 course, but I will put a clarification in the Moodle page just to clarify that. All right, guys, see you later. Take care. Have a nice week. Bye-bye. See you later. Oh yeah, all of our classes will be online. That's right. So it's not, so next week will be online as well. That's what I thought was the case. All right, guys. So yeah, that's why I wanted to be careful to not say the wrong thing. That's the instruction we have from the office. All right, bye. See you later. I'll send out the recording as soon as it's ready.